In an exclusive interview conducted by the 669th-pound reporter Artie Lang, live from the stunning $6.69 studio, high atop the 33rd floor, overlooking Lake Superior, April 13, 2024. Old Vincenzo reveals insider secrets from University of Michigan, fighting Jim Harbaugh, National Championship Studio. When questioned by this fat drug and alcoholic Italian, Mr. Vincenzo remained composed, delivering a blunt response to Artie Lang's inquiries. How, why, and when did you know the top was in? Pressed by Mr. Lang. In a no-nonsense manner, Vincenzo challenged viewers to simply hit the subscribe button, like, and share to unlock the secrets behind his successful shorting strategy. Confident Vincenzo hinted at the potential for 4x returns on investments in just 6 weeks. Artie Lang, now falling over, can't believe what he just witnessed and falls face first to the floor, a loud thumping noise.
Subscribe to the channel, comment down below. Good 16th day of April, if we can believe this already. Steadily marching our way closer to the summertime season after a hazy, overcast, occasionally rainy with strong winds out of the west and southwest gusting to 50 and isolated tornadoes just to the west of the greater Bloomington metropolitan area in central Illinois, with a current temperature of 69 degrees J at the Central Illinois Airport in Bloomington, right? And you need to comment down below, subscribe to the channel, and share to the #1 XRP and gold and silver bullion expert here exclusively on social media and YouTube, right? As we continue to fleece, heist, and shice the market manipulators. And I dare you to find a better value than $2.69. Yes. Remember the Jabroni Killer, right? I beg you to show me a better value of education and information, truth and integrity, right? And right now you can see what we got going on here. If we continue sort of in the same pattern, one of these moving averages would reject you. Either the 50 in Bitcoin, you're trying to bounce again off of this rising channel, right? Which is the major pattern that we've been in. Here, we'll briefly zoom out to the daily so you can all be caught up. You can see that's the rising channel. If we make this a little bit darker of a blue, it'll stand out more now that it's coming more into the forefront. You can see that's the rising channel we've been in ever since we were way back there, right? And then we marched steadily up to here into that. And now for the first time after a massive pump through it, we're coming back down and back testing it and retesting it and trying to confirm it and hold it as support, which would then in turn be a bullish hold on major underneath support and not breaking into a pattern. And maybe that could propel you to $100,000, but you would have to run up to about $85,000 to $90,000 first, right? Or you're going to continue to trade here, and like we had this pattern in green laid out back when the price was still up there on the second hump next to where the big arrow's pointing to up in here, as how we could step down and start to flush back into this major trading area, which was that rising channel we just showed you. And that would be by coming down initially, getting supported by this uptrending support, bouncing up, coming and getting a hook nose Jew bearish reversal pattern up here at about the $65,840.94 level, which was critical support right there locally for the mean of right here. And then we did wick back up here quickly and did get the hook nose Jew bearish reversal pattern, but we could trade into this region right here for an extended period of time all the way through early May before we finally dump and just sort of steadily incline up here with jagged up and down moves with overhead resistance, right? And then that's where we're at right now, where we're trying to keep on top of that. And then if we zoom into the 4-hour time frame, you can see we had two key bounces, one with the wick down, quick buy back up. So unless you had a limit order sitting right there, you wouldn't have really had time to buy into that. Your time to buy into that would have been off the wick, the few second wick back up here to about 63,946, right? And then we came back down today. We got telegraph bounce. This was a telegraph hook nose Jew bearish reversal pattern, and that's why we drew it out, and that's why we were letting you know. Got rejected classically, threatened to break down, pump back up, and now you need to get over these moving averages, which you could come up here in a bearish continuation pattern still, then come back down and start trickling. But that's the key. Can you get back on top of the 65,000 and start to work your way up to get short to medium range bullish? Or are the bears and the bulls going to be fought off and the sellers are going to take over the market and eventually we're going to slip this major moving average, and that's when you would get really bearish. Right now you're just trading sideways and neutral, but if you break back into this channel, that becomes short to medium term very bearish, and we would likely within several weeks of breaking into this come down into this area between 54,800 all the way up into this $58,611.11, right? So that's what we're looking at, because if we do break back down into here, we could have an underneath target of a major retest, something that we haven't retested since back here in January of 2024, right? So it's been a couple of months now, and if we do retest that, that would be very bearish, because you would need a lot of volume and a lot of hype and a lot of momentum and a lot of retail traders to come in to get this bullish to re-break out of this rising channel back up above it to retest all-time highs. Or what would be more likely is you would trade back down to the next level to the downside, which would be a quick wick down to 37,000 followed by a quick bounce back. But that's all after several things up here would have to play out bearish first before we get down there. But that's what we're looking at there. Some of the other things people like, AD, and nobody ever talks about that anymore. I don't think anybody likes that. LCX, somebody talked about before. We can take a look at LCX. The last time we looked at it, it was up here and a big pump, right? And I remember we were coming up here and retesting major areas that we got sold out by, right? We'll get rid of this. No, that wasn't what I want to get rid of. That was what I want to get rid of. We were in this falling channel, right, that we broke out of. We'll put it in purple, make it a little bit bigger, easy to see it. Broke out of that, finally traded to the upside and had the nice mid-ground hyper pump to confirm a pattern change right here. And just like crypto normally does, everyone getting in on the top, they ride it all the way down and then have the massive pump. But we were telling you when we had somebody giving you a dynamite information and education from a beautiful subscriber that is breaking the mold and breaking the algorithm to get truth and education and information and freedom out there. We were talking about the price was probably going to come down, and it could have been, when did we make that video? March. It would have been somewhere in here when it was up here, because it was just about a week ago, and we said we might come down into these moving averages because we just had a 4, 5, 600% pump. What was more likely is eventually we were going to come down to this 0.0960 before a nice major pump where you could play a rebound, right? But we were bearish. We're still bearish. And if we break the 200, you're probably coming back down to that 0.096. And LCX, the pika coin, had a massive flush because it's a new coin. There's not a lot of information. And when we were talking about, we said try to buy the bottom if you're trying to buy this. So that would have been here or here before the most recent flush. And this is a new coin, so we can go into the 4-hour time frame and then just zoom out a little bit. We were talking about when the price was, back in here, April 5th. You wanted to buy if you were starting to accumulate here, and obviously you didn't want to accumulate up there, and then it dipped, and this would have been where you wanted to accumulate and then watch the pump, because this would have been a really nice return right here. And then now the moving averages are consolidating. This could come back down. It could come lower because it's a new coin. The volume's really not even there to start off with. Little to zero buying pressure, and a lot of selling is taking place, and the volume is almost little to none. But if you wanted to try to buy this coin, I wouldn't buy after a pump. I would buy on the dip, any regional dip. After the pump, you buy, right? Then it pumps, you don't buy. Then if it dips, you buy wherever the dip is, because this is a new coin and there's not enough information really to get a solid base on the technicals, because you need more data, and data are days, data is hours, and trades and people and humans placing things and making stuff happen. If we go into the Doge coin, everyone used to love the Doge. I miss the days when the people liked the Doge, right? People used to stream to the Doge. Now nobody cares about the Doge, and the Doge also had a phenomenal rally. We're not going to make any bones. There's no arguing that. But now we had sort of a head and shoulders topping reversal pattern. Came down. It looks like we're seeking heat-seeking missile to the 200-day moving average. If we get some buyers or the bulls, we can make a double top. But I think this might trade back down, because my forecast is still not changed. Before this thing makes a new all-time high, if ever, I believe this thing's going back below a penny. And I made that forecast on the Elon Musk and the Jeff Bezos, where they were airdropping each other into Saturday Night Live. And the coin from that day forward, all the way back here in 2021 or early 2022 in April, was supposed to skyrocket of 2021 in April and be well over $1 that night. and it did the exact opposite from then on. And old Vincenzo had zero audience, only about 50 people, so nobody heard it other than 100 or 200 people that would randomly check out the videos. And we told you were about to get the biggest fleece heisting and shisting job that we've seen this side of the Mississippi, north of I-80, since the 1672 major forest crisis, right? So we tried to keep you out ahead of that, and now we've pumped, but I think this is coming back down, and I think it will eventually be below $1. Like, subscribe, and share. Gonna eat some dinner. Peace.